Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Big League Chew. This is episode 326. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Welcome back, all you fatties. How we doing?
I'm going to go ahead and exclude myself from that description, that category.
You didn't gain weight this weekend?
I didn't even have seconds.
Really?
At dinner. I said
What
I
was
need
that about?
I said I need to be better this year. I can't be going back up for seconds, thirds, fourths. So I cut back, and I felt a little better about myself.
What was the size of that one plate?
I mean, it was a substantial plate, no doubt, but I didn't go back up for seconds, because the way I see it is that first plate's going to be substantial regardless. It's just a matter of whether or not you have the self-discipline to go up or to not go up for seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths.
See, here's my thing. When you go with one plate, you kind of get like half the stuff you want, just in the portion that you want it. So your second plate isn't necessarily seconds. It's still considered firsts for the other items that you did not receive on the first plate.
But that only counts if you don't get any repeat items.
True. I think you're allowed at least one repeat.
I'm sure there's a...
Did you go after the leftovers at all?
Yeah, we had leftovers the next day, yeah.
I couldn't be more burnt out on Thanksgiving food. I had leftovers for the following 2 days.
Yeah.
3 days.
I'm good on Thanksgiving food. You only ask for it once a year, and I'll say it again, it's overrated, and it is. It's all in on Christmas season. So welcome to the light, folks. Welcome to the light. I've been here.
Michael Bublé and
I've been here
Mariah
for a while.
Carey.
Been here for a while. We are not even in December yet, and we are lacking on as baseball fans. We are lacking on things to get us excited about the 2023 season. But we're here anyway. I want to ask you before we get into the list of things we got for today. Have in the time since the end of the season, or I guess I should say the time between now and when we did our free agent prediction episode, like our destinations episode, have you caught wind of any rumors or updates that have maybe shifted your thoughts on a particular player in terms of where you would like to see them? Like, have you heard like, oh, well, this player has been rumored to end up at this spot, and you go, actually, I like that player that at that spot more than where I had originally had them going? Or are you kind of still solid on your picks? Because we're hearing about these meetings that these guys are having with different teams.
I know.
Which at this point, that's all these reporters have to report on is just these meetings and whether or not they go well based on what they hear. So
yeah. I feel like I'm probably the only non-Dodgers fan to say this, but like Verlander with the Dodgers, I don't hate it. Because, like, isn't Walker Buehler's out next year, right? At least to start the year. I don't think he's coming back on time.
A good chunk, if not all, yeah.
Kershaw's not really locked down. I don't know why, dude. I just like... Or Kershaw is locked down, isn't he? Did he sign the one-year deal? I think we talked about this last week. Was that done?
Did we confirm on Kershaw?
I think it's done. I think it's done.
I went to bed the day I heard that, assuming that was it.
I think it's
in
done.
stone.
We'll just say it's done. I don't know. I like the idea of like Freddie Freeman, Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander, and their perfect little families just all hanging out together in LA. It just fits. Just makes sense. You know? Just a bunch of vets chilling, living it up. Plus, I mean, we talked about the whole like Freddie Freeman, his wife being like super into fashion, and that probably helped the LA decision. Hello. Kate Upton, actress, back in LA. Like, kind of makes sense.
Model, actress, all those things.
Yeah.
There's no way she actually lives in Houston, right?
I don't know.
Like,
I haven't seen her do anything in a while.
That's true. That'd be the only reason I'd be like, okay, well, maybe she doesn't. But I'm like, otherwise,
yeah.
Are we just going long distance here? Because that just doesn't seem like somebody that would be living in Houston.
Yeah.
It's more Chelsea Freeman vibes to me, living out in LA.
It's fair, right? It kind of adds up. And like they have the AAV, they're going to cover that. He's not getting a long-term deal anyway, but he definitely doesn't want a 1-year deal.
Yeah, and to me,
Verlander's like a
Verlander's
2-year deal with an option, maybe.
Yeah, Verlander's the kind of guy, to me, that already has the potential for hateability. Like, a lot of people just don't like him just because of the team he's been associated with. His comments that resurfaced when this whole scandal went down about his thoughts on teams that cheat and how that was just not a good look for him. So he has the potential for hateability. I'm not saying he's widely hated across baseball, but he has the potential for that. So to me, a move to LA wouldn't be as jarring for a guy like Verlander. If it was somebody else that just you'd have a hard time seeing people hate, go to LA, join that club, and just dominate. Like, that's a little more shocking. But Verlander, I can digest that a little easier.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing, and I think they're meeting today.
Yeah, they're probably in the middle of the meeting right now. So yeah,
knowing our luck, he'll probably sign after we.
Yeah,
after
we'll probably hang up the call and Verlander to Dodgers on 10-year deal.
I like
$600 million.
Yeah, no, it's I mean I think I could see like a 2-year deal, 3rd-year team option. I bet it's like 50 to 60.
Yeah, safe bet.
50 to 60 with probably like a $5 to $10 million.
Well, we've already
buyout.
talked about he's getting more than what his option was for in Houston, which I believe was it 25, 28? That's the only reason he's opting out.
Was it that high?
It was. Let me see.
Good Lord. I didn't know it was over 25. You're probably looking at like 2 years, 60.
Yeah, it looks like it was 25.
That's fat.
Yeah, $25 million player option for 2023. So it's going to have to be more than 25 AAV because that's the only. Why else would you opt out, especially at coming off
the 1 year, right? You know, he's probably looking for a 2nd year at least.
True, but I'm sure if he really wanted it, he could get that in Houston when the time comes. But I think he's opting out just because he wants more of a.
They may have gotten it with the original GM. May have gotten that deal done, but
that's possible.
Yeah. Do they have a GM yet, or are they just kind of?
I haven't heard anything about
cruising through these few weeks of the offseason with no GM.
I mean, I'm sure they're doing just fine.
Yeah, it's probably like the president of baseball ops kind of thing, making decisions right now. But still, I don't know. How about you? I mean, did you hear anything else? Any other player that you feel like?
No, I mean, maybe it's a little recency bias, but I saw that Verlander and the Dodgers were meeting today, and I was like, yeah. There wasn't much much friction in that thought process. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I could see.
Actually,
that.
I think he'd look pretty good. I think he'd look good in that uniform.
I mean, most people that do
Yeah.
go there, that don't look terrible. Like Scherzer, as much as I hated to see it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I can see it. So
I think so much is falling on the shortstops. Everybody's waiting on the shortstops. Those guys have to go soon. Like, those are not going to be the ones you see really late in the offseason. I think there's going to be a couple that sign, and then it allows teams to figure out what they're going to do elsewhere. There's so many teams in on shortstops. You have to be in. So it's like, yes, we may be in on Verlander right now, but we got to wait to see how much we need to fork out for this shortstop that we're going to get too. And I don't know. I don't really know where the Dodgers stand on shortstops. I mean, obviously they're in need, but I don't know if they feel like they're okay internally.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the same thing for a guy like DeGrom. Like any of those big name arms, if you're in on these guys, I would think, I'm not a GM, but I would think you would want to be more, if you have the need for a shortstop and maybe a big arm. If you're in on any pairing of those guys, I would think you'd be more in on a shortstop, which to me would be a more, especially with the classes that we're dealing with right now. It's more of a surefire bet, is to allot that big paycheck to a guy that you know you can count on. Verlander, we've already said it. He's coming off a Cy Young, but you have the age to take into account. DeGrom, we've already talked about the potential for injury there, the history there. To your point, I think you can be in on those guys, but I think you have your hand more on the pulse of what's going on with these shortstops. And I think once one of them goes, sure,
unless you're set, like
unless
the Texas
you are.
Rangers,
sure.
That's why I predicted both of them going there. I don't think they're both going to go there, but I do think the Rangers get one. I think they get one of those two names. I don't even know if JV is interested in the Texas Rangers. He may not be, but I think they get one because Corey Seager's set, right? Their middle infielder is good to go. So you can't say that about a lot of teams.
I mean, would you venture to say that a guy like Verlander at this stage in his career wants the ring, or do you think he wants... I mean, I'll say again, you opt out for the, I would argue, sole purpose of money. But do you think going to a team like the Rangers would be worth...
Yeah, that's kind of where it's like...
kind of the drop-off there. Because
is DeGrom from Dallas? Is that why he had them on the short list?
I think we mentioned this. He's from
East Coast,
Florida,
right?
I believe.
Yeah. Well, it's weird to have them on your list if you're like ready to go there. I think the other underrated thing is that, like, obviously, again, talking about Kate Upton, like the actress model thing, you know, of like where you want to be in a big city. I think the Garrett Cole connection in New York could play a little bit of a factor as well. I think him and Verlander are pretty close. So that could be interesting. But then, the reason I'm fine with this is because that makes the Yankees almost certainly back out of a shortstop. It seems like Verlander and Judge would be the only two gets in the offseason. They would have to leave shortstop alone, which I'm down for. We don't need a big, shortstop deal going out right now.
Yeah, the amount of people that flipped out over the IKF deal, saying that like this was their guy for next year, it's like, that's not how that works.
No.
You're going to bring him back. Because they did the same thing with, who was it? Was it Glaber a while back?
What do you mean?
They brought back an infielder, but he was gone before opening day, and I don't remember who it was, but it happened recently with an infielder where they brought him back and people were flipping out about that, saying not another year this, and he was gone before opening day. So all that to say, the Yankees bringing back IKF does not rule them out they're not like throwing other eggs into that basket.
No, yeah, I don't think that's the case at all. I mean, that was an ARB deal. It's still under team control. So you're giving up a draft pick if you let them walk. I believe. So there's no point in doing that. And I think there are some teams interested. So I think he's still a trade piece. But either way, financially, I mean, if you're going to fork out at least 30 a year to Verlander, 30 to 35 a year for Judge, they're not doing anything else. They're going to have to look within for their other holes, which I'm fine with. But, love when deals come in right when we're recording.
What do we got?
We got Jose Abreu going to the Astros.
Hey, love that. Well, I mean, we're talking former Astro Justin Verlander. Let's talk Jose Abreu. I completely forgot he won the MVP in 2020.
Let's talk about that. The old prediction list
of that.
Jose
What was
Abreu.
the deal? What was the deal?
I don't know, but I was right on that, and I like being right. It feels good.
Oh, finalizing deals, so I'm sure we won't get the...
Sure, we'll get it in a little bit. My prediction was 2 years, 26. How do you feel about that fit?
I mean,
because that seemingly was really their only hole offensively. And I know like Gurriel did well in the postseason.
Danny Vietti tweeted, Astros basically swapping their 38-year-old Cuban first baseman for a 36-year-old Cuban first baseman.
Yeah.
And Mancini was just the 1 year, right?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. Yeah,
Mancini, okay. Yeah, that was just a rental.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, would you not want Jose Abreu? Like, if that's really your only need.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure the Padres are punching air a little bit because I know they were in on Abreu. So, like, it is what it is. That's a good signing. A lot of teams were in on him. So, Astros just showing no signs of World Series hangover here and just going out and...
I like how we were just talking about them not even having a GM.
Yeah, so I say what you will about the Astros, but
clearly
I mean,
they're still making deals.
They just keep rolling. I mean, it doesn't seem to stop in Houston.
I mean, he's coming off a good year. Played 157 games. At age 35, say what you will. That's impressive. 40 doubles. I think the pop is down a little bit, but that'll jump up when he's back in Minute Maid. Because 15 home runs over 75 RBIs. Yeah, hit 304, OPS of 824, OPS plus of 133. It's a good year. That's a good year. Bounce back year. I mean, he hit 40 points higher than he did in 2021.
43 points higher. Yeah, I mean, it's safe to...
The durability is there.
For sure. And it's safe to say that his year got overshadowed by the White Sox lackluster performance over the course of last year.
I mean, he missed one game in 2019. Played all 60 in 2020. Missed 10 games last year. 5 games this year. Solid for his age. I don't know how he is defensively, though.
Yeah, I mean, I like the signing. There's nothing you can say negatively about this move. I mean, like I said, if that's the only void you have to fill, I mean, what better way to do it than go out and get the guy that multiple teams are in on? So, good move for the Astros.
I like it. So far, I'm 2 for 2 on signings.
Yeah, you're
Rizzo and Abreu.
Well, I mean, the Rizzo one. Couldn't we say that was more on the predictable side than not?
Hey, A lot of people had him going elsewhere. A lot of people talked about him going to the Astros. Just saying.
Jose Abreu in the 97th percentile of hard hit percentage last year.
Yeah. See, I like that. And that tells me that I think there's something mechanically there. If the pop is down, 15 home runs, but the hard hit percentage is still up there, I think there's something that they can find mechanically to get him a little more lift. That ballpark is going to be a lot more friendly to hit in than the old Chicago.
Speaking of Chicago, Mike Clevinger, 1-year deal with the White Sox. Joins the rotation of Dylan Cease, Lance Lynn, Lucas Giolito, and Michael Kopech. Did not have a great 2022.
No.
This we know. But like I was talking with some people in the DMs who were reaching out about it, it's one of those low risk, high reward potential moves for them. Like
it's exactly what I was thinking.
As a 4 or 5 in that rotation,
right?
You don't really have much to lose there.
Yeah. It's not like the Angels are signing him and asking him to be a 2 in the rotation, 2 or 3 spot. You know what I mean? He's going to be a 4 or 5 guy. Buy low situation for someone that does have it. He's got it in there somewhere. But I don't think he was all there last year. You know what I mean? Coming back from multiple injuries, I don't think he had it all back together. Give him a full off season, full spring training. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets back to some old ways.
Yeah, he had a 4.33 last year, had a 4.97 FIP, had career worst in strikeouts per 9 at 7.2 and home runs per 9, 1.6. Only saw 114 at thirds innings over 23 appearances, 22 of which were starts. And just overall, I think velocity was down. I think you're right. I think give him a full off season, give him time to prepare with a new club, time to get acclimated, time to regain that health, the mechanics that he had prior to this.
He fits into that. Bit. Well, he fits into that like that short arm new trend with pitchers, right? Giolito's there. Same guy. It's almost a very similar release point and everything, right? All that stuff's being taught now, and that was, you could say, kind of started in Cleveland, right? Because we see Plesac with the same type motion, Bieber with the same type motion, Trevor Bauer with the same type motion, right? So all those guys are kind of coming from a similar thing. I like it. I like the move.
Yeah, and I don't know if he was necessarily rushed back last year. I don't know what the issue was with his output last year or what led to it. But if you've ever played any sport at any level, you know that when you're coming off an injury, that a lot of times you're coming back with altered or slightly adjusted mechanics because your body is trying to compensate based on the injury or the training that you had to go through to rehab this or that. So it's very well possible that maybe I'm sure you could do a deep dive and do some side-by-side comparisons on that, but it's very possible that maybe he just wasn't himself coming off that injury, off the rehab. So
100%.
like we said, give him time to regain give him time to study that film, to get back to what he was prior to that. And we could be looking at a revamped Mike Clevinger.
Yeah. And give pitching coaches an opportunity to be okay introducing possible mechanic changes. Right. And that's something that some coaches aren't going to do in the middle of the season. It's what the whole term mid-season form, is. It's kind of working out those kinks. He didn't get an opportunity to do that. So yeah, I think I would like to see him get back to old form, because I like Mike Clevinger. He's a weirdo on the bump. A lot of movement, a lot of coming at you with a lot of footwork and stuff like that. But I'm like, cool, man. Let's get it going.
Maybe new mechanics are in his future, because we're talking 2 Tommy Johns at this point. Like maybe it is time to reinvent
adapt.
the wheel here a little bit, if you will, and maybe try to find something new that works better for him and his health.
But I mean, yeah, I like what the White Sox are doing. I like that rotation. I like the way everything's looking. I don't know if Lance Lynn is going to get back to what we saw a few years ago. I just feel like he's probably over on the wrong side of the hill, you know? But Dylan Cease, some would argue, got robbed of a Cy Young this year.
I believe that was my Cy Young pick, but that's fine.
Yeah. Dude's a
Great
stud.
year for Cease.
And Kopech, yeah, look out.
They got to figure it out in Chicago.
That has potential.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was I stand by what I said. I don't think them introducing La Russa into the mix was the issue, because we saw them win a division in his first year, and people could say, well, anybody could win that division. But it's like, okay, well, clearly we saw that wasn't the case this year for the White Sox.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there was something deeper going on there or what, but like you gotta figure it out. You gotta, if you're the front office, if you're the fan base, maybe just forget this whole La Russa era even happened and just remember it how you will and move forward. But
I like that.
You gotta figure it out, because that clearly wasn't the fix.
Yeah. As far as not getting Jose Abreu back, I think you know, both Vaughn and Sheets are first basemen primarily, right? I don't think they're outfielders for their primary position.
Yeah.
So either one of those guys can slide into first and they're fine. I think it's going to be Vaughn. I think Vaughn slides into first and split that time with DH. Yeah, they'll be fine. I could see them going in on an outfielder. Conforto, Mitch Haniger. Somebody as a corner outfielder, maybe. Maybe even Nimmo for center. Stuff like that. Get Luis Robert on the corner. Keep him healthy.
I've seen Conforto's name bounce around in Chicago a little bit.
Yeah.
Speaking of outfielding, Hunter Renfroe traded to the Angels. Angels finally offloading, or I shouldn't say offloading, or yes, offloading some of those pitchers that they've stockpiled over the last however long. Sending Jansen Junk, Elvis Peguero, and minor leaguer Adam Seminaris. Angels sending those armed to the Brewers. Good pickup. Great pickup for the Angels. A lot of pop there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of pop.
Yeah. Big league hitter. And Mike Trout's lookalike. So
yeah. Twins.
Just makes sense.
Have we ever had twins on the same team?
I have to assume on the other side, I think the Brewers are potentially going to move some names. I could see Woodruff going somewhere. Could potentially see, I don't know about Burns, but I could see some movement with their rotation. So stocking up on pitching. What else is new? Brewers trade for a hitter and then suddenly lose interest in having hitters again. Because I've heard rumors about Colton Wong going somewhere too. I don't get it. I don't understand Milwaukee. They don't make sense to me.
What was the last I heard on Colton Wong? Didn't we talk about this?
Talk about what?
I thought we had already talked about Colton Wong, but it does look like he's next in line.
Yeah, a lot of rumors
to be
around
shipped
him.
out.
I don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, 29 home runs, 807 OPS. He led the league, or he led.
He's a Gold Glover too, and like a true Gold Glover. I know when we say Gold Glovers now, it's kind of lost its touch. But
he led Major League right fielders with 11 assists and ranked 10th in the National League with a .492 slugging percentage. So definitely has value. Like if you're the Angels, you should be thrilled with this acquisition. But again, the Brewers, like I guess they're just offloading at this point. They're not. It's like they
reset. It's like they do a couple moves. You think that they're on the brink of breaking through, and then they like reset in the offseason. And don't be surprised if they hang on to some of those rotation guys and they start the season, they get hot, and they're in the hunt, and then they do midseason trades to try and add in bats. I feel like it's a brutal cycle.
Yeah, it's a very...
Because in-season trades are more expensive. I think everyone knows that. Those are more expensive than off-season moves.
Sure.
So it's odd. It's odd. I don't know. But I could see those rotation guys. I feel like they just go either way, right? They're like, hey, we're the Milwaukee Brewers. We're not going either way on the side of the spectrum. We'll just sit in the middle. Let the season start out. If they start out hot, they go get bats. If not, they sell on some of those arms.
I don't feel like they ever go out and get the guy.
I know.
It's very much a and to their credit, they do it better than a lot of these teams that try to piece budget teams together in the hopes that they'll maybe squeak in. They do it a little bit better. I don't know whether it's chemistry or organizational philosophy or just the talent is slightly better. But I just feel like year after year for the Brewers, it's let's piece together something that we think will work, that's well under budget, that doesn't require us to spend very much. We'll see if we can squeak in, and we'll let the chips fall as they may. It's never like all right, let's just take over.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's clear that organizationally we can get to the postseason. That's not the problem. I mean, mine obviously this last year being the exception, but like they have the capability and they've shown over the last decade that they can get to the postseason no problem. But it's like, is that in Milwaukee? Is that as good as it gets for the Brewers? Is just getting in? Like I've never, and we've talked about this. When it comes time for October, we see the Brewers' name on the bracket and we go, they just don't do enough for me.
I never feel like their roster is deep enough to make a strong run. I don't know. I'd be frustrated if I was a Brewers fan though, because it's the same thing over and over again. And I do have to think that Christian Yelich deal is really just weighing them down at this point. Because I mean that he's getting paid like a 40 homer guy, and I don't even think he's half that right now. And that hurts.
Yeah, it's like when you don't have guys on the offensive front producing or executing, you see how much the team skids and slides when their pitching struggles. Because if you don't have that, which the Brewers have been known for as of late, if you don't have that in any given stretch during the season, you're going to slide. So I don't know. I'll be curious to see what the next kind of phase or chapter looks like for the Brewers. Is it just going to be, well, let's go get an above average or like a mid-grade bat that will pretend is the guy or our guy to fill the hole, but it's just a rinse and repeat kind of thing. I don't understand.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of it.
Like you said, though, big move for the Angels. Still
smart
frauds.
Move.
Still frauds, but
Taylor Ward over in left, Renfroe in right,
and
there's Ward playing first base most of the time now.
That would make sense to me. Warden left.
Yeah. Jared Walsh at first. Sure. Gio at third. Fletcher at second.
And then just keep Adele as a depth piece in the outfield.
Dude, Adele seems like a flop to me. I've never seen anything that
I'm not disagreeing, but
big league caliber guy.
On paper, you need a depth piece. So I would imagine he just fills that spot.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this move is not going to necessarily get you over the hump by any stretch if you're the Angels, but a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do more than this, though.
Yeah,
they know
keep
that.
going. They gotta
we
keep
know
going.
that.
At least 2 more arms. At least.
Yeah. Carlos Santana, 1-year deal with the Pirates, adding a little bit of age into that clubhouse because I believe I saw the oldest guy in the clubhouse prior to this deal, which was for $6.7 million, was G-Man Choi, who they also recently just added, and he's 31. So you're bringing in a 36-year-old with some pop. He can swing it. I know age is taboo in baseball, but you do need some of that to an extent. Like, you don't need to fill your entire clubhouse with like 50-year-olds, but you need a little bit of guidance because I'm of the belief that veteran presence and leadership is vastly underrated.
Yeah, I would agree with you. That probably ends the Michael Chavis experiment at first base for him, who had an okay year. Definitely subpar offensively. I like it though. I like G-Man there. Get a lot of ABs for G-Man.
Yeah, Chavis can bounce around though. Like he'll be
a little utility situation for him.
Yeah, he's versatile enough.
They got some good stuff going in Pittsburgh. I don't mind it. Still a few years out, but I don't mind it.
A few years and some bigger moves than $80 million. Yeah. Gonna need a little more than that. But
those are those situations. I say this every offseason. Those are those situations where you get these teams that are most likely not going to be in the hunt, that they go get a veteran that they can flip mid-season. Those are 2 lottery tickets. That's what G-Man Choi and Carlos Santana are. Lottery tickets to where if a team in the hunt looking for some lefty pop, those are your guys. And the Pirates will say, here, we got these to offer.
I mean, I guess, but like, what is the realistic return going to be for either of those guys? Like, it
better than nothing.
Again, is this just going to be like another rinse and repeat thing? Like, Pittsburgh has to come up with a different approach, a different philosophy, because it can't just be like, well, let's acquire these mid-tier guys that could potentially go off in October for a team that is in desperate need of an arm or an outfielder or whatever it may be, or in this case, a first baseman. Like, at a certain point, you're going to have to, and I don't know all too well like what their development's like. They just seem to be the farm system for Major League Baseball. Yeah. So something has to change. When we talk about this all the time, Pittsburgh needs better. Mm-hmm. Like the Pirates need better. Because what they're getting, what their fans are getting, isn't enough. But all they've had is time. That's all they've had is time because they're not willing to spend. So it's like, okay, well, if the approach isn't going to change, and you're sitting on this money that you don't want to spend, then you've got all the time in the world. So
it's just one of those organizations that each year you're going to see more guys get chances, and they either pan out or they don't. And right now, I mean, between Brian Reynolds, O'Neal Cruz, Ke'Bryan Hayes, they got guys that are going to somewhat be cornerstones for that organization, I think. I don't think those guys... It seems like if they didn't sell on Brian Reynolds last year during the season, it seems like they've made their decision on putting the price astronomically high. But I think an extension is going to have to come for for that guy soon. So you start to build a little bit and put some things together. I think they're going to be okay. They're still going to have a lot of chances. Young guys are going to have a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, I mean, for the Brian Reynolds thing, an extension is necessary. Otherwise, to me, the only way I can view that is you just sitting on your jewel, waiting for the right price tag to come along, waiting for the right return to come along. Because until you commit to these guys, I'm not going to believe that your approach is anything but that.
Right.
And they can sit there and pretend like, oh, we put them out there, but we're going to keep them here. That means nothing to me until you can put pen to paper. Because otherwise, like I said, you're just waiting for the right team, the right package to come back your way. Which,
yeah,
whatever.
I mean, he's controlled until 2026. And he did just get I don't have a date on this, but the 2-year, $13 million extension. So that's going to cover ages 29 and 30. I feel bad for Brian Reynolds. Because now you got to ball out to get a bigger extension or to still show value on other teams when you are ready to hit the market, which is age 31 in 2026. So I think I got to imagine the Pirates have some prospects coming up. I mean, we've seen guys come out of there. It's just their ability to recognize the value in some of those arms that they've had and recognize some of the value. They need to be better about that, but it's been there. They have it in the organization. So you need to hold on to it. Let it play out a little bit. And build. What's that? What's his name? You picked him up in fantasy last year. Little blondie dude with a lot of lettuce.
Oh, with an S.
Yeah.
Jack
Sawinski or something.
Yeah.
Right field, I think. Typically, right field, left field.
I think a corner. Yeah.
See, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got some guys that you give them a full year and just let them play. And O'Neal Cruz is only going to get better, by the way. Only.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you saw that little poke that he hit in the is that the Venezuelan or DR League? What was that?
I sure did. Yeah, I saw that.
Just an out in front flick, just a bullet to right center.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. they're gonna be okay, but they need to make sure they hold on to these guys and bring in. You're right. I mean, G-Man Choi and Carlos Santana are not the answer. Not at the moment. Bring in those guys, though. Give me those second chance guys. Those second chance veterans. Go get Luke Voit. Bring in another third baseman or first baseman. See what happens. Just have 5 first basemen on the roster. See what works.
I don't know. I've said what I need to say on the Pirates. I just wish they would do so. I wish the Pirates at this stage in the offseason would get me excited the same way the Orioles can get me excited at this point in the offseason. And just the overall timeline of where they're at. But where the Pirates are at right now does not get me excited whatsoever. Until something changes drastically with their philosophy, it's just going to be the same thing. Like
I feel you.
I'm never a fan of just going out and spending boku bucks on a guy just to have a mega millionaire on your team and everything else is crap around him.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you're the Pirates, is that just going to be the Band-Aid that you have to rip off to just at least get the ball rolling, to just commit to a guy and build around? Because you don't, like, nothing against O'Neal Cruz or Cabrian Hayes, but like, you need something a little more established to commit that money to.
I mean, I feel you. I'm with you.
I mean, I have family up there just outside of Pittsburgh, and they tell me all the time, they're just like, we have nothing to get excited about. We have nobody really to get excited about. Yes, we saw both of those guys that I just mentioned, but we're talking about guys that need to put butts in seats.
What if they bring back McCutchen? Just get a little fired up. Just get a little juice. Just a little excitement going a little bit.
I feel like that would be very short-lived.
Get a veteran that just can end his years gracefully in a place where it all started. And then we have some young guys to mentor.
But we're not talking about a team.
They're not competitive. They're not going to be competitive anytime soon.
Right. And that's the entire point that I'm trying to make here is unless something changes, it's just going to continue. It's going to be this rinse and repeat. It's going to be, well, we'll bring in these second try veterans. We'll bring in these feel good stories. We'll bring in Joe Blow off the street to see if maybe he can get a little spark going.
That's what you got to do to manage. That's what you got to do until you have the guys that you project are going to be your guys until they're ready. They're not ready, obviously. They don't have enough guys ready. And so in the meantime, just go with something that starts to build a culture, teach your core how to be young superstars.
But that is my point. You say in the meantime. There is no meantime with the Pirates because it's the same thing. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. We've seen these big arms. We've seen guys like Garrett Cole, Tyler Glasnow, who they have them, but they don't sit on them. They ship them out because they're the farm system of Major League Baseball. So
I mean, I understand. I'm with you. I'm not disagreeing. All I'm saying is that it seems like all these teams are going to go through this cycle. They're going to have this 7 to 10 year stretch where you got to deal with it. You got to deal with it. It's the way it goes. It's
gonna be a lot longer for them, I would imagine.
I mean, look, because it's the way it goes. Like that, you're not going to see teams like this, organizations like this, be a perennial problem. You know what I mean? The Royals got their World Series, and then they basically just shipped it in, right? Like they got their ring, and then they fizzled. That's the way these teams are going to operate. I think the Steelers are, the Pirates are going to go and they're going to get their one ring at some point in the next 10 to 15 years. Then they restart the process. That's the way it goes. It's frustrating. It's not fun. It's not fun to watch, but it is how they operate. Marlins, same type of deal where they, you look at these teams that shouldn't be, they're not going to be a perennial problem. As long as they have some self-awareness, they understand who they are. You got to act like you are the Royals, the Marlins, the Nationals, right? Teams that are they're not going to be long-term problems. They're not going to have a dynasty set up. It's just not how it's going to be.
I hate it. I hate everything that's going on in Pittsburgh. I feel for those people, for those fans.
With you.
Just
we've talked about how sick Pittsburgh is. Like it's all built in. It's ready to go. It is a sick stadium. It is a sweet fan base.
Sick in a good way, but those fans in the negative way are sick for continuing to show up for that product because I hate it. I don't want to talk about Pittsburgh anymore. I do want to talk about friends over Big League Chew.
Big League Chew.
I'll get you started. Founded by former left-handed pitcher Rob Nelson.
Big League Chew started from humble beginnings in the Portland Mavericks bullpen in 1977. For more than 40 years, the iconic pouch is packed with shredded, flavorful bubble gum has become the number one shredded gum of athletes everywhere. Big League Chew has sold more than 900 million pouches and is designated as the Hall of Fame bubble gum. Grab some gum. Head to Big League Chew's social media channels at Big League Chew on Twitter, at Big League Chew Gum on Instagram. Show off your Big League bubbles. You can also find a list of... You can also purchase something...
Find a list of retailers or purchase.
Yeah, any of their products directly from their website at bigleaguechew.com. Nice assist there. Appreciate that.
For once a week, it wasn't bad.
It's not terrible.
So little update with BLC, first of all, before we even get to that. I Did I mention that when I was setting up my baseball Christmas tree, I found like a Big League Chew ornament that my mom had gotten me
like years ago?
Within the last few years. It was just like a plastic baseball, and it had like the logo on there, and then you open it up and there was gum in it and had like
That's cool.
stickers and all this other crap. But I was like, that's pretty cool. I received this before we even knew the BLC partnership was a thing. So that's up on the tree. Update regarding BLC. We're with them through the end of the year as it stands right now. We're working on trying to keep them on board. We're trying to work out something with them. But they're working on some details for 2023, not just with us, but with all the people they're dealing with. Because like you mentioned, NIL.
A lot of those deals.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff up in the air right now, but just in case for some reason you see any changes in the new year, just know that we're aware of them. We're working on getting some things ready for 2023, but time will tell what happens. So just want to give you guys a little update for that. Really just a couple other things here before we get into our draft. Looking forward to that one. Bryce Harper received TJ on Wednesday. The team said he's expected to return as a hitter by the All-Star break and could return to the field by towards the end of the regular season. So, yet again, another instance where the designated hitter in the National League served as savior for a particular team.
Facts.
Specifically the Phillies. This will be year 2 now.
Yeah.
We'll be 2 for 2 on that matter.
Yeah. My apologies on the throat sound, by the way. I got to imagine that this World Series run but fall short might have been the worst case scenario for Bryce Harper and the Phillies. They win it. He gets surgery. You're okay. They make this late run into the postseason. And if you were to ask Phillies fans, hey, we'll give you the postseason. You're going to make a run. You're going to get into the World Series. You're not going to win it. And you're going to have Harper with the TJ. Or, hey, you're not going to make the postseason. Bryce can get TJ the end of September. Give him a month head start. I think I would go that way. You know what I mean? Like I want to get Bryce's back as soon as possible.
Heck, a month or 2 head start.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been a huge... If they were not even in the running, I think he probably would have gotten that surgery a while ago. So, as great as the World Series run was, that sucks. Castellanos probably going to play right field every day. I could see them still going to get another outfielder. But I do think they're going to get a shortstop to soften the blow. They are absolutely going to get a shortstop. Because who's going to make that deal? The man they just brought back and extended. Who loves to spend money.
Old Davey D.
Old Davey D. He's going in. And it's going to soften the blow a little bit. And then Harper's going to come back, and it's almost going to be like a mid-season trade.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously sucks. I mean, you're missing out on your MVP for yet another half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Probably longer than that because All-Star Game is into the second half of the season, as we know. But again, it's worth noting the significance of the expanded playoffs that at least, I mean, it helped them this year at a very literal level. Next year, it could at least, for me, I think it'll reverse the role a little bit for the Phillies. They needed the expanded postseason to get in to October this year. Next year, I think the expanded postseason helps them tread water until it comes time to Bryce to return and or the trade deadline, so that they can then readjust or recalibrate based on the knowledge that we know now regarding the expanded postseason.
Yeah.
And then they can go on from there. So going into the season, knowing that you're going to have that like available and as an option, I think it helps with the decisions that you make come mid to late summer.
Yeah. And I mean, you just got to be patient. If you're a Phillies fan, you got to be patient. You know that, I mean, I think it's now established that Bryce is in his prime, right? He's not a pitcher. This isn't going to really alter too many things for him. He's going to come back just fine. TJ for a position player does not mean the same thing as it does for a pitcher. He's going to be fine. But I think it's also showing that if they extend Davey D, they're not willing to just accept matters as is over this stretch of prime years for Bryce. They got to go push it, chips all into the table. So that's why they're going to bring in a shortstop to kind of soften the blow, make up for that offensive hole. And yeah, like you said, they're going to tread water. And then when Bryce gets back, they're going to evaluate and see where they're at. They need to go add more. They'll go add more. They're going to do what they need to do. But I think the Phillies remain in the conversation moving forward. Long term. 4 or 5 years, I would say, that the Phillies are going to be in the postseason over and over again, pushing the right buttons. And now they have guys with postseason experience, right? Now they have that hunger. We fell short. Now it's like, oh, that's what I'm putting the work in for? We were this close? Cool. Now I know.
Yeah, and they got that, I'll say monkey off their back. Yeah, we had the postseason drought, but just I'm thinking more recent. I'm thinking more the year prior to last, or this most recent season, the year prior to this most recent season, where again, and I've brought it up before, they only had to beat, I think it was like the Marlins in the final series of that season to get in, and they fell short. And so for me, that short-lived monkey, they didn't have to ride that out very long. It wasn't like, okay, well, we were this close, and then it was just followed by years of misery.
No.
Literally the next year, they're in the World Series.
Yeah. Progress each year has definitely got to be the goal.
So now that they've gotten that out of the way, they've basically enabled fans to forget about that.
Yeah.
I think it changes the way they approach this season. I think it changes the culture a little bit, because they're going, okay, we're not this team that just barely misses the cut.
Right.
We're now a team that can compete in this division, which is a great division. And I think that does wonders for them during the time that Bryce is out, and only improves when he returns.
Speaking of a fit for Colton Wong, Gene Segura is a free agent. So they already took an advance in the defensive metrics. They definitely jumped. Probably more so than any other team. Little lefty pop in there. Some Gold Glove defense. Match him up with a shiny new toy at shortstop.
So what's that mean for our good friend Bryson?
I don't know. Trade piece, I would say. It's just I don't know what Bryson's like. It's hard to tell. I can't tell if he's a utility infielder. I don't know if he's an everyday guy. They did kind of flip-flop him in now I'm spacing on his name. Who's the other infielder? Played shortstop. I think it World Series ended with him at short, didn't
they
it?
platooned, yeah. I can't remember his name. I know exactly what you're talking about. They platooned him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably something that they're going to see, right? That goes to the treading water thing. Just tread water to see how it goes. If Bryson Stott isn't holding it down, who knows? But who knows what a Bryson Stott could do, or what the
ceiling looks like.
Big time shortstop could do for a Bryson Stott. Just every day here, you're at second base every day. This is your spot. Enjoy. I wonder what that would do for Bryson.
Do we think of Bryson Stott as an Austin Riley, to where you've got the team saying, like, we like you, we want to keep you around, we want to get you plugged in as much as we can, but like we can't guarantee you a starting position every single game of the year.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the point, opening day 2022, or what was it, 2021, 2022, whichever year we were talking about this. They said, this is your time to run with it. Like, this is yours. You don't have to worry about it peeking over your shoulder. This is yours.
It seemed like they did that with Bohm.
Yeah. I mean, and based on how he responded after that brutal start. Yeah. I mean, I think they're okay with him there, but I'm saying just in terms of the confidence that you can instill in somebody just turning over the reins to a position.
That, and I think if they can add more into that lineup, it allows guys to kind of find their identity. Bryson Stott did have some occasional pop, but that's not his role. He cannot even act like that's his role. It can come and go, but that can't be his, he can't be a 150 strikeout kind of guy. I don't know what he did this year. I'll have to look it up, but
he gives me Corey Seager vibes minus the pop. The consistent pop.
The consistent pop of Corey Seager is there for sure. Yeah, I mean, he hit 234, 10 home runs, only 89 strikeouts in 127 games, so it's not terrible.
I'll say this. I want to see a full year Bryson Stott somewhere. Yeah. I want to see it.
I think they're gonna, I think, again, like we said, I think they're just gonna tread water, see how the season goes. But Dave Dombrowski, when he smells it, he's gonna make moves to try and make it happen.
I like it. Nothing's really developed here, but any thoughts on the Aaron Judge and Giants meeting?
Kind of goofy bringing Steph Curry along for that meeting, huh? What did you think of that?
Did they bring him into the meeting? I saw they put him in touch. I don't know. I don't know if it was. I think they're just trying to have him help with the recruiting process a little bit. I don't know if they had him in on the meeting, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do. You got to pull all the stops if you're trying to get the biggest free agent in a given offseason. Like, it's what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this since day one. It's either the Yankees or the Giants. It's such polar opposite, I think, of what you're going to be able to do offensively. You can arguably potentially cut his power numbers in half from what he did last year if he goes over to San Francisco next year and moving forward. So it's like, yeah, the Giants are going to go in on so much money. They're willing to match whatever is going to, what the Yankees are offering. But, at what point do you become the villain for signing this major deal because you're not able to put up the same power numbers that you were elsewhere prior?
That's a great point.
I wouldn't want to be the problem. I wouldn't want to be the reason.
No.
that we're getting blamed. You know what I mean?
Like if you're a guy like Aaron Judge, you don't want to be the problem. You want to be the savior. And
you can, yeah. And it's just the Giants just don't seem like they're there. Like they're not. I don't think they're quite ready to be that.
And
it'd be different if Judge was 26, 25. He's not.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's been around long enough to take these things into account. What I'm most curious about in this whole process, and I've mentioned this before, but just what he's prioritizing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we saw the video, the rather staged video of him pulling up to the bay,
mm-hmm.
just being like, visiting some friends and family, wink, wink. Very staged video. But it's just like, does he really value the coming home aspect more than production numbers taking a massive hit? Or does he value coming home and his production taking a massive hit versus just staying put and continuing to be the guy?
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like it's all there waiting for him in New York. It's all there. And like, yes, I think that you could pick out the 5% of fans that booed him in the last game, and you can change that to be the narrative for every Yankees fan, which is BS. It's not. Majority of Yankees fans are against any fan that booed him. Everything's built in. Everything is built in. You have your own section at the stadium that you've had for years. You've had this captain, accolade being dangled in front of you, which I think will finally happen. He's got Yankee legend kind of just established already. You have to reestablish yourself in a different organization at 31. It's gonna be tough. Where that said organization has shown that they're not about winning every year the same way other organizations are.
I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I mean, and we've talked about this. You said it yourself. You're just out on the Yankees right now until they
I wouldn't blame him
something.
for leaving. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't blame him
because
for
I
leaving.
keep hearing this whole like winning culture versus non-winning culture out in San Francisco versus New York. And I'm just like, yeah, I think we can all agree that the Giants are what they are. But let's not fool ourselves into thinking that the Yankees right now are the Houston Astros, because they're not.
No, I understand, but
they got a ways to go
before
they get that.
Every year they're going to have a chance, right? And that's kind of all you ask for as a player, right? That's all you're going to just give me an opportunity to get there.
No, and I
think
agree.
if you look at the two teams, the Yankees are going to give more opportunities than the Giants.
No, and I absolutely agree with you, and I hear what you're saying, but I'm just saying, I don't think we as baseball fans or people that are invested into this particular free agent scenario can be tricking ourselves or fooling ourselves into thinking that this whole winning culture is just one big thing. For the Yankees right now, as it stands, are the team that, yes, compared to the Giants, are going to be able to offer him more opportunities. But to say that this is where he's going to get more rings, that's a completely different conversation.
Understood.
Because they haven't shown you anything to make you feel that that's even a possibility right now.
Understood. But it is, I mean, he has been there for these teams that have had a chance. I think it seems like it's incompleted. He's still got work to do. If he leaves, Yankees fans are going to say, thank you. We appreciate what you brought to us. But you're not going to go down as a Yankee legend. You didn't get us over that hump.
Yeah.
You left things incompleted.
Yeah.
I think the Rizzo signing coming back is probably a good sign. The fact that they're boys, the fact that Boone and Cashman are back. It seems like the Yankees don't want to rock the boat too much. I think they want to come back to Judge and say, hey, here's our offer. We want you to be a part of decision-making moving forward. Let us know what you're thinking. Be a part of this process of who we're going to move and why. Have some say in it. You're a captain now. It's all right there for him. I don't know. I wouldn't want to go to a bigger ballpark knowing that I'm going to decline this 9 or 10 year, 8 or 9, 10-year deal that he gets. He's only going to be good for probably another 4. And then it's going to start to be an older slugger, Albert Pujols situation, I think. Could come down to that. I think that's very realistic. We see it all the time. Every superstar. It's just normal, natural. So where do you want to age? You know, in a ballpark that could still give you the opportunity? Or a massive ballpark? Speaking of massive.
Update. Jose Abreu's deal worth $60 million.
What an overpay. What
expected to be for 3 years. Yeah, that is quite the overpay.
Oh, man.
But honestly, if you're the Astros, you're playing with house money at this point. You're like, we got our ring.
Yeah, that's fair.
Why not? Why not? If we don't have to pay for a GM, well, let's just put that money towards the player.
Yeah.
Let's just roll with the staff we have. Like, why not?
Superstar shortstop for a while that we don't have to pay.
That's true. All right. Well, that's about all I got for the free agency discussion and the personnel aspect of it. I'm sure we'll have some more updates as the days or as the week goes on here, and hopefully by next episode we'll have some more Abreu-like deals to discuss and break down. But it is now time.
It is time
for the part you've all been waiting for. The draft. This week, we are drafting ballpark foods. And let me just preface this by saying, before we even hopped on to record this, Nate was saying that he didn't think that this was going to be really controversial at all. To which I responded by saying, almost any time we bring up food, we go into some sort of one or two-sided rant. Because you're always coming after me about my culinary preferences.
I'm drafting for quality.
Again.
I'm getting the best player available. That's my mentality.
Okay, and let me just remind you by saying, you said that last week.
I know. I think you won. Last week.
I won. It was a landslide. It was, where is it? Looking for it here. I took a screenshot because I knew you wouldn't believe me. Oh, yeah, here we go. 71 to 29%. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, it's tough.
So I was in the comments apologizing. Or I wasn't apologizing. I was blaming the coin flip, and it turns out that it was just a landslide. So I think if you go with your heart and go with what you like and what you're about and what you can back up and defend, you might be in a better spot.
There's only so much deviation you can do with this.
That's
There's
fair.
really not much you can deviate. You know that there's probably 8 to 10 solid foods to pick from. Because these aren't like these are the generic ones that you see at every ballpark. These aren't the specific Helton Burger and Coors situations.
Sure. But rather than try to be a people pleaser, I feel like it might benefit you to just go with what you're about. And you can make a stronger case for.
I'll be A-okay.
All right. All right. How are we asking Sear for the coin flip here?
No, you won. You keep it. That's what we decided. Winner of previous draft gets the first pick.
Did we say that? Because we did a coin flip for both.
Well, we didn't poll the first one. That's why.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It was all based on the poll.
This one was polled. So you got this.
All right.
No pressure.
All right.
Some pressure.
I'm gonna get some heat from some people right out of the gate here. Number one, I'm going chicken tenders.
I knew it.
The supreme, the elite ballpark food, without question.
Like number one overall pick.
It's chicken tenders, 50 feet of crap, and then the rest of the list. Yeah, number 1 pick, I'm going chicken tenders. What do you got?
Number 1 overall pick because I'm smart. Hot dogs.
Predictable. Too predictable.
That's fine. But you got to go get that. You got to have that.
I absolutely agree. It was number 2 on my list.
If I don't go there, you go there. And you have chicken tenders and hot dogs back to back, I'm done.
That's also fair.
I'm
That's
done.
also fair. All right, number 1's in the books. Number 2 for me. This is one I stand behind, but I also think this is a people pleaser. So I'm sitting pretty here with this pick. Number 2, I'm going pretzel. A hot pretzel. Throw any condiments on it you want. Number 2, pretzel.
I was going to go there, actually. I
know you were.
Yeah. The variety. You hit it with the spicy mustard. You hit it with the hot nacho cheese. Options are limitless.
Yeah, give me that fake nacho cheese. I'm here for it, and I'm about it.
Speaking of cheese, number 2 pick, nachos.
Hey!
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
It's a stable, it's a solid, I'm not losing anybody on that pick.
No. And if you're losing people with that pick, you're losing the right kind of people because we don't need that kind of negativity in our lives. Nachos, excellent pick.
Appreciate it.
Excellent pick.
I appreciate that. Because, you're looking at all different types of varieties. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like the staple. You can get all, before people judge that pick, think about it. And really with a lot of these foods, you can experiment. But the nachos, that's a staple because you're talking like we had out in Coors when we were out there.
The shredded chicken monster nachos they got at Coors.
Some barbecue on there. Throw some whatever.
I think it was like the pulled pork barbecue nachos at in San Diego.
That's what I'm saying.
You can do a lot with nachos. That's I feel good about it.
Very versatile pick. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. This is where I might lose some people, but again, this is where I might just seal the deal here. Actually, no. You know what? I'm gonna save that. Yeah.
All right.
I feel confident. I'm gonna be able to get that. I'm gonna go number 3. I was gonna go general here, but I'm gonna get specific with it because I stand behind it.
It's not off to a good start.
I'm gonna go cheese fries.
I don't even know if I've actually ever gotten cheese fries at a ballpark before. I can't.
I just get the
garlic fries. I got garlic fries. The Yankee
garlic
Stadium
fries are trash
with a cup of cheese. Is that what you're meaning?
No, I'm talking like
cheese has to be on top.
Fries, and we just talked about it. You take that nacho cheese, that fake cheese, and just drizzle it all over.
I don't like the way you keep saying fake.
It's not cheese.
I need you to stop attacking it the way you are.
I'm not attacking it. I'm calling it what it is. It's
nacho
fake,
cheese,
but it's delicious.
Yeah, nacho cheese. I think it just deserves a little bit of some decency here. I think fake is very harsh.
It is what it is.
It's delicious.
If it could talk, it would say that it's the fakest thing out there, but it would say, "You're still going to want me." And I'd say, "Yeah, you're absolutely right."
Little tangent here.
It's fantastic.
I think nacho cheese is better than Cheese Whiz.
That's
talking about fake.
That's not a hot take. That's just a fact.
That's just fact, yeah.
That's backed by science.
Cheese Whiz is, I don't know. I feel like it has to be outlawed in a lot of countries. We're letting it skate through.
All right. Little honesty moment here. I'd still eat Cheese Whiz. So I'll have it on crackers, but if we're talking in comparison, nacho cheese. Without a doubt.
All right.
What do you got?
You got fries for your third pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was allowed. I didn't want to ask you about it because I don't know what kind of gates open here. Am I allowed to say?
Hold on. No beverages.
So I can't say beer.
No, we're going ballpark foods.
All right. I think that would have won me quite a few picks. because you went your route, I'm going to steal your pick that you skipped over that you thought you were going to get later. If you would have let me have beer, you could have had this.
You don't know
but
where
now
I'm going. You
going
don't know where I'm going.
Peanuts
No,
for the third
that's
pick.
actually not what I was going to say.
Really?
That's not what I was going to say. But that's a
Well,
great number 3. Peanuts
number
at
3.
3 is great.
You got to have the fidgety food, the food that you can have for a while. I was kind of going back and forth between peanuts and another thing, but you know, you could sit there, you can work with peanuts. You know, you got something to do with your fidgety hands.
Yeah, the peanuts is the thing that you get when you don't want to commit to a $20 entree, but you want something that'll,
It'll last.
keep
It'll last.
you busy. It'll keep you filled for the most part. Like,
Yeah.
you're in good shape. Although I will say, and speaking from personal experience, once you commit to the peanuts, you're automatically committed to a souvenir drink because you can't get through a bag of those peanuts without
the saltiest of salty.
It's unreal. Like,
yeah.
I'm convinced the peanuts that they package for baseball or really any sporting event are 2 to 3 times saltier than the average peanut.
I'm convinced that they're grown in a block of salt and they have to just like chip away at it to get them out. They have to mine away the peanuts.
That's how they do it.
Makes sense.
Number 4. You know what? I'm not even going to feel any shame with this pick because of how much I love it. I'm going the Italian sausage sandwich.
I understand it.
9 times out of 10, that's the entree. Well, yeah, 9 times out of 10, that's probably the entree I'm going to get because the tender bucket, that's a commitment. I love the tender bucket, and it's forever my elite ballpark
commitment.
food. Yeah. So it's like if I'm at like my second or third game of the week, like if I'm just going down the road here to catch a Nats game and I'm able to catch a couple during the summer, like I can't do chicken tender bucket every single time because then I won't have any money in my bank account. But like if I'm trying to go like just one tier down, maybe
Italian sausage
sandwich. Yes.
What do you mean by sandwich?
It's just like a hot dog, but you have an Italian sausage in it. And they throw the peppers on there. They throw the onions on there.
So you're not really calling it a sandwich. It's still coming in a bun, right?
Yeah, but it's not necessary. It's not like a sandwich as you would think of it, but like
like the
how
hot
else would you call
Italian
it?
beef sandwiches. Those are sandwiches.
No, I'm talking Italian sausage sandwich here.
Was that your fourth?
That's
That
my
was your
number
fourth?
4th. Yeah.
Number 4 for me, I'm gonna go cheesesteak.
Wow. You could have picked up some ground there.
Yeah. Very underrated pick there.
I don't think of cheesesteak as a common ballpark food, but I guess you
If you
can
really
find
think
it at a
about
lot
it,
of places.
Yeah, you're gonna get it pretty much everywhere. Pretty much. So I feel good about that. The variety of cheeses that you can get with that, man. Just it's a very versatile. Again, it's a lot like a nacho. You can be pretty creative with a cheesesteak if you wanted to be.
Well played. Well played, sir.
Yeah, I feel good.
Number 5, rounding us out here. The ultimate people pleaser. Well, in this particular category, I'm going to go ice cream.
Yeah, I was gonna go there too.
Because that's...
If you didn't go there, I was gonna go there.
That's all encompassing. We're talking Dippin' Dots. We're talking soft serve. We're talking ice cream
souvenir
sandwiches.
helmet. There's a lot going in there.
The cookie ice cream sandwiches. I mean,
There's nothing better.
It's all encompassing. There's nothing better.
I don't really love my last one.
There's still a couple options on the table.
I don't really love it.
There's actually 3 in particular that are still on the table that I'm thinking of.
3, huh?
Yeah. I'm curious to see which one you go with. Because I know it's one of these 3.
I'm doing this. It's a people pleaser as well.
It's the wrong idea. Go with your heart. What did we learn this postseason? Pick with your heart.
The no beverages thing really kills me because beer, I think, just would have been a landslide.
Yeah,
you know?
but it's ballpark foods.
I hear you.
Yeah, I mean for that, I'm at an automatic disadvantage because I'm not picking beer because I don't drink.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you could have picked that up at 5. And
I know.
Still would have won the draft.
I know. But I would have gotten criticized at putting it at 5. That's why.
But I'm saying you could have
3.
because it's wide open for you at that point. But again, ballpark foods here.
If anyone's curious, I am stalling right now. I don't even know what other stuff you're thinking of. So, Cracker Jacks. Number 5. It's in the song. It's built in.
Nate, I'm going to need you to take a second. Is that what you want to commit as your final answer for 5?
I can't think of anything else. I didn't even have anything else on my list. You giving me a mulligan just in case?
I'll give you a mulligan because I don't know. I don't know if I can put that out there.
You don't think you'd allow it? You don't think people would?
Look, my list is already in
that.
My list is already in the books. I'll give you some options to choose from. We've got pizza on the table. We've got barbecue on the table.
I did think
on
barbecue.
The table.
I did not think pizza. I mean, yeah, I think the only other one I would consider is cotton candy.
That's solid. That
is better than Cracker Jacks. That does give me a dessert on the list. I'm going to swap it. Give me cotton candy at 5. Cracker Jack is the honorable mention. For the old heads out there. I think only old people are eating Cracker Jacks at this point, right?
I mean, I'll eat Cracker Jacks, but I'm not going to get it at a baseball game.
Side note, the popcorn, the bin that you get for Christmas where it's got the cheddar, the caramel popcorn, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Neapolitan popcorn equivalent.
Right.
Yes.
Are those not Cracker Jacks?
Well, it's basically what Cracker Jacks is. It's the caramelized popcorn. But they also have those like little nuts in there. I don't know what those nuts are.
What are Cracker Jacks doing? I feel like if they really wanted to make some money during the off season, it's get into those bins.
I'm sure
they probably don't. They probably don't mess around with the other types of popcorn.
How did we let popcorn slide? Are we just not going popcorn?
It's a great choice. It's true. Popcorn over cotton candy.
I mean, I'll give you a second mulligan if you want. I want to make sure you're putting your best 5 out there.
My best 5 would be popcorn at 5. I think you're right.
All right,
I think
so
you're right.
Final answer.
Kind of stupid.
Final answer. Well, it's not. But
I'm not 5.
Yeah. All right, so final answer, popcorn at 5.
Final answer, popcorn at 5. Done. Oof. Lot of back and forth there.
What did I tell you? You said not controversial at all. And here we are sitting at 5. You're taking 2 mulligans. So yeah,
I know.
It's rather controversial.
I know. I think the cheesesteak got me back into play. This was one, having the number 1 overall pick really helps, but you kind of gave me the advantage by letting me go hot dog.
I mean, I was going hot dog.
I was going to go chicken tenders for sure next.
Yeah, so we just had our 1 and 2 flip-flop. That's all.
I get it, but I think the hot dog is the more recognizable.
It's not about recognize. We're not going for recognition here. We're going for elite ballpark foods.
All I'm saying is that when you go to the grocery store, do you find ballpark chicken tenders or do you find ballpark hot dogs?
Are we eating ballpark foods in the grocery aisle or are we eating them at the ballpark?
Boom. Just laid it down.
No, I just flipped it back on its head. Do you eat ballpark foods in the grocery aisle or do you eat
buy
ballpark
hot dogs?
foods at the ballpark?
When you buy hot dogs,
Yeah,
You
at
get
the ballpark.
hot
At
dogs.
no, at the ballpark, because these are ballpark foods.
Yeah,
We're talking about the experience of eating ballpark foods at the ballpark.
Ballpark foods that are so good they've leaked into other places in life, including the grocery store.
I mean, just so we're clear, you can also get chicken tenders at the grocery store too.
But they're not advertised as ballpark chicken tenders.
But hot pretzels are. Super pretzel, throw Mike Trout on there.
That was 100% going to be my second pick.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah. Yep.
pretzels at what, 3? Yeah, that's I might be running away with this one too. Although I'm curious to see how much love your cheesesteak pick gets you. That'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it. We got to get out of here. We're deep into this thing. You got anything
Real
else for the
deep.
people?
No, I got nothing for you. This is a brutal time to be alive, but we'll see you next week. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love y'all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.